Alright guys, back again today. Pete Thompson with Kalamazoo Chinese Martial Arts Club. Had a request from Jim to make a video on post standing, particularly is practiced in Baji. So going to start off kind of basic post standing 101, why to do it, what's it for, etc. The best explanation I've ever heard of post standing is that it's like putting up the frame of your house, right? So when we're working on our post standing, we're working on building up our structure. It's not enough to just have good structure, right? And be a martial artist. We also need proper locomotion, which is being able to move with proper structure, and then of course fighting skills, timing, distancing, techniques, etc. But this is one of the bedrock ways to build up our structure and is practiced throughout the majority of the Chinese martial arts, along with some other arts. So anyways, I'm going to start out with what I think is one of the best forms of post standing, not really specific to Baji, but then kind of move on down the line. So my personal favorite, and you'll have to bear with me because you might not be able to see my hands in this shot, my personal favorite is 10-10, or 10-2, which you guys may be familiar with. So again, I'm going to start off with my feet shoulder width apart, feet parallel from the second toe to the inside edge of the heel. Positioning my hands 10 and 10, right? Or 10 and 2, depending on how you think about the clock. And as I'm standing here, I'm really focusing on raising up, right? So my arches, the iliopsoas, or shrinking up the groin, pulling up the solar plexus, pulling the shoulders up and back, and then pulling up from the crown so it's like I'm suspended from above. We'll have another video on shoulder positioning later on. I know up and back is going to sound strange to a lot of people out there because we're often told to pull our shoulders down and slightly forward. But anyways, 10-10, just standing like this. And when I say up and back, so basically my hands are in line with my ears to the back of my head, right? So I don't want to be forward like this. Make sure it's back, working on drawing up. Generally speaking, I recommend about 2 minutes to start with, maybe working up to 5, even 10 minutes. This will be the same with any of the post standing we do in lower postures. If you can't do it for at least 2 minutes, I recommend bringing it up just a little bit until you can, and then working on depth. So 10 and 10 is the basic requirement, right? So this is kind of where we want our shoulders to be, where we want feeling in our hips to be, our head positioning. From there we might move to universal post, which becomes a little bit more difficult as I move my hands down to maintain those shoulders up and back, right? I don't want to be collapsing forward with this. I want that nice straight spine, and really only difference here is where I have my hands. We can work on the Baji posture that Jim was questioning me about. So again, so the Baji, the shoulders are the same. I'm going to be sitting down into a high horse stance, right? But still drawing up. This hand is down near my hip, but my shoulder hasn't changed. This elbow up, just slightly down from parallel, right? So I don't want to be straight at parallel. I want to be slightly below it. Now this back hand is pulling, stretching towards the horizon. This front hand is pushing, again towards the horizon. That's going to be the backward loop from this backhand across the back to the front elbow. We always talk about how my backhand is firing front hand. Sifu will call it front chi and back. And that starts getting into some of the Tongbei aspects. My feet, although I am maintaining my arch, my intent is driving down, right? Down into the earth, deep, deep root, my head again suspended from above. So the Baji posture is a little bit more difficult than basic 10-10 because I'm needing to split my intent a little bit more. I need to maintain all those basic requirements while also making it just a little bit more alive martially. And again, I can have this high horse stance if I want. I can sit lower still, but it's what can you hold for 2 minutes. I'm not going to do that on this video because it's going to be pretty boring. Another way to practice our post standing is in a lot of the basic forms. So for example, in Baji, we have Shao Baji, right? Or Little Baji. And a lot of times I'll have my guys train that holding each stance for at least 5 to 8 breaths, right? Again, kind of sitting, getting that feel for the structure. One of the nice things about the post standing is it lets us sit there a moment, analyze what we're doing, make those adjustments or micro adjustments we might need to be making. So maybe my foot's out just a little bit and I want to bring it back in. That's where we start getting that muscle memory. We start getting that kind of that feel for where we should be. Within more what you know, Jim, I think horse stance form and 8 stance form would be great places to work on your post standing in the various stances. In fact, those forms were a creation of Leon. Originally, it was 8 basic stances from the long fist tradition. Horse stance being done twice as much as any of the other stances. And again, it was for those longer holds, more in a post standing type way. So basically, long holds to make sure our positioning is correct and to build up all the stabilizing muscles so that we have a very strong foundation. And once we have that, we can start moving on to locomotion and we can start moving on to fighting skills. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks.